Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday webinar session. And we organize these sessions. These are organized by Pune River Revival. So we mainly work for rights of rivers, trees, any other issues related to environment. So we have all the sessions related to Pune, trees, rivers, environment. So today we have Ameet Singh with us. I think pretty much everybody who is anyway related to Pune's issues knows his name. He's an economist, but mainly he's known for the work he does in Pune Samvad, whether it is rivers, trees, traffic, garbage, some budget of PMC, and you name it. And he has questions on that. He has solutions on that. He goes for many tree cutting hearings, and so that's why we have always seen the face. We've always heard his points, so we can actually learn about the heritage site, which is the Ganeshkhind site. About that, we can learn today. I think that is the only one officially recognized biodiversity heritage site in Pune, right? And so we'll get to know more about it. What does it mean? And why it needs to be protected, and what are the options? So, Amit, you can introduce yourself a bit, and then we can go ahead with the webinar.
So, hi everyone. I guess we've got about 4, 8, 10, 15 people. So, I guess we start. And then I won't be talking for long because many people already know me here. So, it would be nice to have a freewheeling discussion over just me talking. Uh, I am an economist by training, but my area of interest is urban studies. So that brings me into a lot of work with regard to do all what I call the non-sexy stuff. To work in areas of pollution and garbage and sewage and areas which basically people feel that somebody else should do something about it, and I guess no one ends up doing anything about it. So eventually, it ends up becoming our kind of responsibility, people who research and study in the matter. What we have right now in Pune is a very curious situation. We have a very high awareness in terms of the issues or the problems. We have a very high awareness in terms of the fact that Pune is a polluted city. We know that there is a garbage problem, and the garbage is a visible problem because we see the garbage, and we know that it's a really very big problem which we need to do something about. We know that there is a very serious sewage problem in Pune city because every time we pass one of our rivers, any one of our rivers, we realize that the river is in a very bad shape and something needs to be done to fix it. So there is a huge amount of awareness. I would say maybe 99.99% of Pune's people are aware about the problem statement. What they are not aware of the fact is why there are these problems and what needs to be done to deal with these issues. So this is where I guess people like me come in, and we have to try to break it down in as simple language or a medium as possible for people to understand that garbage is just matter which is out of place. It wasn't garbage up till it came to your house. It wasn't garbage up till you had utility for it. It wasn't garbage up till you needed it to be part of your life, your ecosystem. It's only when you finished your utilization of whatever it is that you were taking from nature that it became garbage or it became sewage. And then you did not know what to do with it, so you threw it back into nature and you expected that nature will take care of it. But that's not how things work in nature. So human beings are tool making animals. What we do is we make tools and we process nature around us. Because of which, what we end up doing most times is we pick and we think that okay, we've picked up, let us say, maybe coffee from nature or clothes from nature or textiles from nature or what have you. And then once we take what we have from nature, we realize that okay, now that we've taken what we have from nature, we need to dispose of it. So we dispose of it back into nature again. Now, here is where the gap comes in. And this gap is where we don't realize that if we don't treat our natural capital with respect, we will lose what little we have of whatever natural capital we have. And if there is no natural capital, then you cannot run any economy. So all economies depend on your access to natural capital, because everything that you consume is going to come out of nature. And once you finish consuming, it has to go back into nature. So, air, water, and uncontaminated soil or garbage, zero garbage, these should be pure. You need to be having pure air, clean water, and uncontaminated soil so that what you consume and what you dispose of is done in a manner which is as nature friendly as possible. And this is what is not happening. If you go 60, 70 kilometers away from Pune, you'll be quite surprised. The AQI is 10. I mean, if you go to places like Lavasa, etc., which have very high amount of plantation and tree cover, the AQI is as low as 10 or 15 or 20. But the moment you come back into Pune, you realize our AQI is more than 200 or 250. And how has this happened? This has happened because we've taken down more than 95% of the tree cover of Pune, especially the old growth tree cover. Pune now generates close to 2.5 to 3 crore ton emissions. And to absorb these emissions, we need close to 100 crore trees, which means that we need at least 100 trees after every Punekar. And what we have instead is we've got a situation where we've got this circumstance where we have maybe one tree per two people. And this is the PMC data, which I don't trust, but it is their data. In all of these circumstances, we had a very glorious past. So if you look at how we have been nurturing trees and ensuring that all of Pune's avenues were tree lined, and all of Pune's avenues had, or all of Pune's roads had trees. So there was Jangli Maharaj Road. It's a completely rain tree covered avenue, start to finish. Or if you look at the road next to Market Yard, again, lots of rain trees. If you go to Bhosri MIDC, Pimpri Chinchwad, the old Mumbai Pune highway, lots of mahoganies, rain trees, all these trees. So the question comes to mind that where did all these trees come from? I mean, they must have come from somewhere. And then when you go to find out what's really been happening, you realize that there have been botanical gardens and biodiversity heritage sites within Pune which have been nursing these tree species after importing them from all over the world and slowly making them endemic in a manner of speaking. And one such site which we have in Pune is a site called the Botanical Garden, which we've got, or the Biodiversity Heritage Site, which we have, which is behind the Pune University, behind Ayuka. So every Saturday at about 8:39 in the morning, we take people out for a walk, generally to this site, and we have over there close to more than 4,500 trees, out of which I think the average age of the trees are approximately almost 100 years old. We have a tree, a banyan tree, which could be between 600 to about 1,000 years. We have a mango tree which has been planted during the Peshwa times. In fact, the Peshwas identified that patch of land and decided that they wanted to make it a garden. So, true to the nature of the Peshwas and the time, they made it a mango garden, so to speak. They started त्याला आमराई म्हणतो आपण मराठीत त्यांनी तिथे आमराई लावली आणि आमराईवरून त्या बायोडायव्हर्सिटी हेरिटेज साईटची खरी सुरुवात झाली. त्याच काळात पोर्तुगीज सुद्धा आले होते. तर पोर्तुगीज लोकांनी अनेक गोष्टी आणल्यात. आपल्याला बटाटा वडा खायला आवडतं, तर पोर्तुगीज लोकांनी खरं बटाटा महाराष्ट्रात आणलेला. बटाट्या वड्याबरोबर आपल्याला मिरची खायला आवडते, तर ती मिरची सुद्धा पोर्तुगीज लोकांनी मेक्सिकोवरून त्या काळात आणलेला. अशा सगळ्या गोष्टी पोर्तुगीज लोकांनी भारतवर्षात आणल्या. भेंडी खायला आवडते, भेंडी आफ्रिकेवरून आणली. तशीच आफ्रिकेवरून तुमच्या ज्या महोगनीच्या स्पीसीज आहेत ह्या सगळ्या आल्या. अमेझॉन मधनं तुमच्याकडे त्या आल्या रेन ट्रीज. या सगळ्या गोष्टी अमेझॉन मधनं आल्या. आणि हे 300, 400, 500, 600 वर्ष जुनं इतिहास मी तुम्हाला सांगतोय. याच्यानंतर काय घडलं, पेशवे गेले आणि इंग्रज आले. आणि ज्या वेळेला इंग्रज आले त्यावेळेला असं लक्षात आलं इंग्रजांना की आपल्याला हे घडवता येतं किंवा बायोडायव्हर्सिटी आणि स्पीसीज डायव्हर्सिटी आपल्याला हे घडवता येतं, तर आपण कुठं घडवायचं हे. तर त्यांनी हा स्पॉट निवडला. आणि हा स्पॉट निवडून इथले जे 165 किंवा 200 एकर्स जे काय आहेत, या 200 एकरीवरती त्या लोकांनी मिल्कियत करून तिथे शेती सुरू केली. आणि शेती म्हणजे अशा पद्धतीची शेती सुरू केली की आता तिथे 4 प्रकारचे इकॉलॉजिकल झोन्स आहेत. म्हणजे तुम्ही जर तिथे गेले तर तुमच्या लक्षात येतं की ग्रासलँड इकोसिस्टम सुद्धा आहे, which is in a manner of speaking different. Then you have a wet deciduous ecosystem, which is if you go and see the chiku groves and the mango groves, which are very old. And those groves are more than maybe 100 years old or 150 years old. So they have in their own self become a sort of a wet deciduous forest ecosystem. And a wet deciduous forest ecosystem would mean it stays green through the year. Then you have a riparian forest, and lots of debate takes place about the riparian forest ecosystem. But I would put the age of the river at anywhere between 27 to 35 crore years old, because that is the age of the Sayadris. And the river is almost as old as the Sayadris, our riparian ecosystem. And all of this riparian ecosystem has vegetation which grows along the riparian ecosystem, which is quite unique to our own riparian ecosystem, to our own riparian ecology. So that exists in this place. And then over and above this, you have an arboreal forest. So you have huge trees which cover entire avenues. So there are 4 or 5 avenues which have huge they're tree lined avenues, and there is an arboreal forest. So you cannot see the sky. That's how high these trees are and how they cover the entire avenue as you walk through the space. So these are the so-called features of that particular place. And because you have these 4 or 5 different types of ecosystems and more than 4,500 types of trees with about 610 germplasms which have been maintained over there, about 27 different types of fruit varieties which are cultivated and sent out throughout the country over there. This becomes a very rich place in terms of its biodiversity. It's a sort of a hotspot. And that this is the science which scientists took, and then they took to the Maharashtra Biodiversity Board, and they also took it to the central or the National Biodiversity Heritage Board, and they qualified this as a biodiversity heritage site. Now, unfortunately or fortunately for us, Pune is shaped like a basin. It's shaped like a bowl. So what happens is that Pune consumes about 200 crore liters of water a day, and out of this water, it takes about almost 80-90% of this water, converts it into sewage. So you can say about 164 crore liters odd of water gets converted into sewage every day in Pune. आणि ही सगळी सांडपाणी जी काय आहे ते आपल्या ओढ्या नाल्यामध्ये आपण सोडून देतो विदाउट एनी ट्रीटमेंट. सो ऑल द वॉटर दॅट यू सी फ्लोईंग इन द रिव्हर इज सुएज, because we have 7 dams in Pune upstream, 6 major dams and one smaller one. So these dams are what gives Pune our water. So that 200 crore liters of water that we consume every day, that comes from these dams. But what happens is that the water that comes from these dams eventually becomes sandbody sewage, and then it flows straight into the river untreated. So since it flows straight into the river, whatever water that you are seeing flowing in the river is technically all sewage. It is not pure water. There is no base flow in the water. And this water ideally should be treated and repurposed. It should not be dumped into the river. And that is the law. The law says that do not dump any poisonous or any sewage filled water into any natural water body. But since Punekars are lazy and they don't treat the water and repurpose it, similarly, other people, Pune Municipal Corporation is doubly lazy, and they want to get into industrial scale sewage treatment plants, which they want to plant right at the banks of the river, so that they don't have to do the work of collecting the water and repurposing it or treating it or cleaning it up. And this issue has led to them earmarking several spots, approximately 11 or 12 spots now recently, and they've had about 5 or 6 spots earlier along the river banks, which is been earmarked for sewage treatment plants. Now, one of those sewage treatment plants has been marked to come up in this biodiversity heritage site. And it's very unfortunate that we have it over there where you have such rich biodiversity. Now, there are 2 types of sewage. One is your organic sewage, which is basically your human excreta, and that can be treated with the sewage treatment plants. And then you have the inorganic sewage. Now, in inorganic sewage, what happens is all the chemicals that we use, whether it is shampoos, soaps, whether it is harpics and wims and what have you, all the chemicals that we use, these get classified as inorganic sewage. And you have close to 15,000 chemicals. There's a literal library of chemicals which compose this inorganic sewage. And there is no sewage treatment plant technology in the world which can pull out inorganic sewage out of the sewage that we generate, and ensure that it goes back into nature in an uncontaminated or in a least contaminant way. The only technology that exists is biodiversity, bioremediation, use of plants and trees to bioremediate the sewage, absorb the sewage, absorb the heavy metals in it, absorb the chemicals in it by using plants, and again give you back pure water or fresh water through evotranspiration. But you see, there is a lot of money in these industrial scale solutions. So since they have got 1,800 crore rupees from the Japanese to give us dated technologies which are from the 1960s and 70s and dump those technologies upon us as sewage treatment plants, we have a lot of pressure suddenly on all the land which is adjoining the rivers for making them into sewage treatment plants. This is land which is extremely rich in terms of biodiversity. Ideally, if you stop dumping sewage into the river and you ensure that the bioremediation takes place, we will have the river come back to life by itself. But that isn't happening. And that is the reason why they have earmarked a part of this land as something they want to make a STP out of. Another thing that they have done, they made a mess of things as usual, is that they have decided they want to build a road, and that road is going to go along the river, as well as it's going to you see it's going to go to a place where um, the main road which is there, which bisects the road from Bremen Chowk all the way to Aund Road, which kind of bisects the university campus into two. So the university campus is about 415 acres, and you've got the Biodiversity Heritage Site, which is about 165 acres. That road also, they feel it needs to be widened. So all the avenue trees along that road are also under threat. And in the meanwhile, while we were not looking, they have gone and felled about 55 to 60 huge giant trees and taken off, sliced off a piece of the biodiversity heritage site and built a road which occupies close to almost 15 acres of land within the site. So this is the way damage has already been done. In fact, a lot of people are not aware that the agricultural college campus, which earlier used to be on Ganeshkhind Road, was close to about 150 acres, and now only half of it is left because 35 acres got taken over by the metro car shed, if you like, and 15 acres got taken over by something called the Sakhar Sankul. So you have had all this nonsense happening because of which we have lost out on so much open green spaces which help absorb pollution, help clean up the air, help make Pune a more livable, more easy, more greener city. And yeah, so because of all these things, we figured all this out and we decided to haul them into court. And right now we have a matter in NGT where we have made them all parties, including JICA, which wants to fund all these obsolete technologies. And the more important thing which we need to do is we need to convert this space into an arboretum, and we need to bring people of Pune there and get them to engage with this place as their own. So this is really the more important thing that needs to be done. And when they say that there was an issue when they questioned the Dalai Lama, that okay, what do you think that we could have done better? He said the only thing that we could have done better was that we could have taken Tibet to the rest of the world when we were in Tibet. And the reason why he said that is when Tibet got taken over by the Chinese in 1959, at that time nobody had a concept or a context of Tibet. No one in the world knew where Tibet was and what it was about. And that is the reason why we lost Tibet. And then after losing Tibet, we decided we want to go out to the rest of the world and tell them about what Tibet is. And by the time it was too late. So we can't allow that to happen to all our biodiversity rich heritage spots. And we can't allow that to happen to our riparian forest. And we can't allow that to happen to our all our natural capital, so to speak. Because without natural capital, you can't do business. You're in a dead economy. You can't do business on a dead planet. So with this, we can open this place up to questions, and whoever wants to ask whatever, you're free, feel free. You're welcome to ask. If you all have not already put things in the chat, I can speak about a bunch of languages. So Hindi, Marathi, and English is good with me. And just let me know what it is that you want to ask, and I'll try and take the discussion to where you want it to go.
Amit,
Open it up for people to speak.
right. Thanks, Amit. इट वॉज रिअली व्हेरी हेल्पफुल. पण मला एक बेसिक प्रश्न आहे की बायोडायव्हर्सिटी हेरिटेज साईट म्हणजे काय, म्हणजे त्याला कशाला बायोडायव्हर्सिटी हेरिटेज साईट म्हणायचं?
बायोडायव्हर्सिटी म्हणजे जैवविविधता आणि
राईट.
हेरिटेज म्हणजे वारसा आणि साईट म्हणजे क्षेत्र. तर दॅट इज द रिझन वाय जैवविविधता म्हणजे किती जैवविविधता असल्यानंतर इट क्वालिफाय ॲज अ बायोडायव्हर्सिटी हेरिटेज साईट. So you can have a lot of monocultures, or you can have forests generally which have some degree of biodiversity, or you can have a culture like this or a place like this where you can have a lot of biodiversity, and then after having so much biodiversity, you decide to qualify it as a biodiversity heritage site because it is part of your heritage now. More than 600 years of culturing biodiversity or 500 years of culturing biodiversity over here has led to having more than 4,500 trees, which are of an average age of 100, with more than 610 different germplasms, 27 different fruit varieties, 65 to 67 different weed varieties which grow on the floor of the forest, and about 45 of them have approximately have medicinal uses. You see, so having all of this happen in 165 acre area is almost impossible to find. You can find some amount of such type of biodiversity in wetlands. You can find some amount of such biodiversity in riparian forests. You can find some amount of such biodiversity in the Sayadris or in areas which are extremely eco-sensitive. But having all of them cultured within a city and within a space of barely about 165, 70 acres is a huge achievement of sorts by our ancestors. So now this has become our heritage, and it can either become our heritage of pride or it can become our heritage of loss. So if we want it to become our heritage of loss, we should allow Pune Municipal Corporation to do whatever they want to with it. If we want it to become our pride, then we have to work hard to do whatever we can to save it. That is what this is. I hope I've answered your question.
येस येस, डेफिनेटली. नाही म्हणजे मला कळलं की बायोडायव्हर्सिटी हेरिटेज आहे म्हणजे किती रिच आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये किती वेगळ्या वेगळ्या स्पेशीज आहे, बिकॉज जनरली पुणेकर्स डोंट नो दॅट की तिथे
This
आहे.
exists in Pune. They are not aware that this even exists in Pune.
एक्झॅक्टली एक्झॅक्टली. देर इज अ क्वेश्चन नाउ बाय माया.
So Maya has asked, is there a right to green space that can be answered? Well, yes, there is a right to green space that can be answered. There is, as per the National Forest Policy, 33% of the surface area of your city is supposed to be covered in green spaces. And now, unfortunately, in Pune, it has come down to 9%. And once upon a time, it was the opposite. And if you look at North India, for instance, I mean, every day in North India, the air pollution numbers will keep making the news. North India, you have entire states like you have Punjab and you have Haryana and you have Upper Rajasthan and you have Western UP. Sorry, you have Western UP, and you have other such areas. You have Northern Madhya Pradesh. There, the forest cover is down to as low as 2%. So when your forest cover is down as low as 2%, you can't expect that you will be covered in pollution and poisonous air almost for half the year, and that is what has happened over there. The reason why that's taken place is they've killed all their green spaces, and that is the reason why it's in such a bad way. Comparatively, Pune is better off. You're right that many of our gardens have limited visiting hours and all of this, and well, they try to say that no, we don't. We have staff shortages, and we would like to keep the parks closed in the afternoons because, in any case, it just invites drunks and vagrants and what have you. But within 10 to 15 minutes from anywhere in Pune, you can either reach a tekadi, or you can either reach an open space, or you can either reach the river, or you can either reach some forested space near the river. So this is the beauty of the city. Now there are lots of green spaces that are still left to be discovered for you. I do not know where you live, but if I get to know where you live, then I'll give you a few suggestions about
Near
where you
near
can go at any
Pashan
time of the day
actually.
or night. Huh?
Yeah, Pashan. But I was
Pashan.
looking
So
at the
you
bird
have
sanctuary timings also, which I mean, what
so
sanctuary? The lake. Yeah.
you have the lake and then you have the tekadi. You have 3,500 acres of tekadi to explore. So, so you have a huge green space in the tekadi. I schooled in Loyola, so we used to run from Loyola school. We used to go up to the Tegri and run up above Black Rock, get onto the plateau, run all the way to Vetal Baba's temple, and
No,
then
you're
go
right.
further.
But even Panchvati and all, very funny timings, keep getting asserted by security and all that. So then they lock the gate. So that's
Yeah,
why the timing thing is odd.
this is now a nuisance. I think that Residents Welfare Association is to get into action and take off the fences. I mean, there will be some drunks and vagrants, but then you need more supervising, perhaps, and you need to open up the spaces a little more for people.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, anybody else wants to say something, or I can keep talking? We have 15 minutes more.
I have a question which is really not my question, but
Hmm.
generally this is what people say, that you guys always say that the rivers are dirty, and when we are trying to put a new STP plant to clean the water, now you are opposing that as well. So what are we to do?
So, there are three examples in Pune where we have shown that we can clean up sewage without these STB plants. One is the Osho Tirth Garden, which is behind Osho. And ironically, it was designed and executed by some Japanese guys. And one is the Bhairova Nala. Colonel Patil has done some decent work and reclaimed the Nala and put in plants to to take the sewage and treat it. And the third is that the Bogra Park, which is next to the Hollywood Gurdwara in Camp. So we put in a beautiful series of trees over there to bioremediate the sewage and clean it up. You can test the sewage when it goes into its mucky black sewage, which goes into the park, and by the time it comes out, it's almost crystal clear water. And of course, it's not a perfect system, but it's a system which is better than all the other systems that have been employed so far to deal with the sewage problem. We have more than 27 arterial Odhanalas in Pune. And if you consider that the length of these is about 300 to 500 kilometers, the cost of treating all the sewage in Pune will not go above 500 crores. And if we can spend 1800 crores on sewage treatment plants, we can very easily spend at least 50 crores on bioremediation and keep spending money on bioremediation to ensure that all the sewage gets treated because people seem to be very lazy. They don't want to put in situ sewage treatment plants. And that is causing this hell the way it is. We need green cover because if we don't have green cover, then we cannot kill the pollution and we cannot kill the sewage and we cannot kill the garbage issues. So, with all of those things, aspects of the problems that we need to solve, we have trees as a solution. They can fix the problem, but unfortunately, the interest to pursue that the line of solutions don't exist. So that is the reason why we have these arguments. And what we want industrial scale solutions which are being forced upon us, where you see you bring in these huge STP plants from I don't know wherever you bring them in from. You pour in a lot of concrete, you pour in a lot of steel, you put in a lot of glass and plastic and all other kinds of elements which you cannot repurpose and send back into nature. And then you say, I want to build a sewage treatment plant which will fix what part of the problem. The rest of the problem, what are you going to do? You're going to take it and still dump it into the river. So how have you solved the issue? So unless you have a holistic view or you have a systems thinking view where you can ensure that whatever water you take from nature, you put back into nature. In fact, you put more water back into nature than you take from it. You become water positive. Unless you don't do that, you will keep arguing that, oh, my river is dirty, it's full of sewage, it's full of filth, it's got a hyacinth bloom. Why is the hyacinth bloom there? Your river is full of heavy metals, it is full of chemicals. The hyacinth is actually there, it's doing the job of cleaning up your river to a certain extent. You have not done the job of cleaning up the water in the river. And now this is the situation. And what does the law say? What does the law prescribe? The law, as far back as 1974, the Water Act is been written in 1974. And the law says in 1974 that you have to take the sewage. Suppose you're generating more than 50 kiloliters per day of sewage in a cluster. You take that sewage, you repurpose it there, and you treat it there. It's called Here you are taking sites which are pristine, where not a drop of sewage gets created, and you're dumping an industrial scale infrastructure upon it to deal with other people's problems. So you see the fun. Why we are suffering what we are. Yeah. So I hope I've answered your question. But the more important thing is that we need to get in thinkers, we need to get in scientists, we need to get in botanists, we need to get in bioremediation specialists, we need to get in people who are specialists in this area of work who can come and contribute to make our city sustainable. That is the more important thing that we need to do. And if these guys are not going to do it, we will have to ensure that we do it. There's no other go.
Right, right. Anybody else has any questions? So if we do not have any questions, Amit, maybe it would be a good idea to tell a little bit about the surveys and the tree mapping that is going on this site.
Yeah, so there are two pieces of data. One piece of data is the data that we have received in the reports that we have got so far. And the other piece of data is actually ground truthing what is going on. So, for instance, if there are many people here who are already aware of what has been going on with the riparian forest. In the riparian forest, for instance, they discovered that no, they got a permission for felling 10,000 trees in 2019, and then later on in 2021, they got another permission to fell about 20,000 trees. So close to 30,000 trees is what they had permissions to fell. So we tried to understand how many trees are they really going to fell. So we took a patch of 100 meters by 100 meters along the riparian forest, and we counted all the trees in the forest, and we figured out there's 2,490 trees. And then when we extrapolated that area by using satellite data, we figured out that close to 1,16,000 trees are going to be felled by them just to build this monstrosity called this RFD. And so similar things happened here. We have 165 acres, and we have this data in terms of the number of trees which exist. But are there 4,500 trees on the ground? And if those 4,500 trees exist on the ground, what is their vintage? How old are they? What species do they belong to? Can we catalog them and make a taxonomic data of those trees? Because eventually we have found that there are lots of gaps between primary data and the data that is published or the data that is shown to us. And government data is generally always spurious. So that is the reason why we decided we want to run the citizen science experiments and try and figure out what is the biodiversity available there in compared to the biodiversity that is shown to us in all the reports that we have seen so far. And a lot of interesting insights are coming in from there. We are being able to understand how there are so many trees which are of maybe more than 100 plus years vintage. There are so many trees of a specific variety of fruit, again, which are maybe of more than 50 to 100 years vintage. And so much so, like for instance, the Chiku Grove has become a wet deciduous forest in itself. It's become a habitat or an ecosystem by itself. We have discovered more than 55 to 60 living species of birds. We have discovered different species of fish. In fact, the common kingfisher, which unfortunately is nowadays very uncommon in most of our riparian areas because our river is totally polluted, is now visible over there because there is a clean water stream which flows through that place. So these are things that we have kept on discovering, and I'm sure that with the citizen science experiment, more things will come to cover, or more things will come and become more and more visible. As they become more and more visible, we'll have that much more data with which to speak about. So we have spoken to the zonal agriculture science research station. They are actually agricultural scientists. So some people are from soil science, some people are from botany, some people are from plant biology, some people are from genome sciences, but they understand science. So they have agreed that they will help us with our science, and then we will, after we clean up all our data, we should be able to maybe publish it properly. And if it's possible, maybe publish it on their website also. So then what starts to happen is our goal of eventually making it one a world class arboretum. There are only very few locations like this which can become a world class arboretum. One location is this location, of course. Another location is our Nike Island, and the third location is Empress Botanical Garden. Rammula confluence or all those other confluences also can come, and these places should actually become our heritage world-class arboretum sites, because you have these sites are better than anything else you have on offer anywhere in the world. A walk in these places is better than walking in Central Park or walking any place else. You're like in the midst of nature. You're bathing in the forest, and at the same time you're able to enjoy so many different landscapes, so many different varieties of plants and trees, so many different varieties of habitats, and all of that in such a small span of space. So yeah, this is what we are uncovering through citizen science, and ideally we should be able to publish it, put it out there, put it on the record, so that the data is available to everybody, all curious people who want to come. And you want to say, okay, I want to come to Pune. Where do I go? Come spend a day over here. I mean, you will always have a mall to go to, and you will always have some other place to go to, which is a building or what have you. So we need to have these world class arboretums where people are invited and they can come and spend some time there and understand the species diversity that we have over here in our Sayadris.
I think
That
that
is my dream.
I think that's a great idea what you said here.
Yeah,
I think we all should put this on TripAdvisor and other sites. That when
yeah,
you
yeah.
come to Pune, you visit this biodiversity heritage site, you go to Ramula Confluence, and so on. So at least we put that out there, and many people will go and visit it.
Yeah, because more and more people become visit Tibet. Tibet gets more and more identity. You understand? Up till people don't visit Tibet, no one knows where Tibet is. So
Totally.
unless, yeah, so up till people, more and more people come and visit these places, it gets an identity of its own, and then later on it becomes, you don't have to protect it anymore. It will protect itself because the public will claim their space, and then suddenly it will become a place of what's it called, a place of pride for all these politicians and bureaucrats and whatever. I mean, they can continue taking their promotions. We really don't care, as long as they keep, as long as we are able to save the heritage of our city.
Right. Anybody has any question?
प्राजक्ता. हा हा
Yeah.
प्राजक्ता.
हा,
हा
बोला.
मला जरा असं मला जरा असा जनरल मध्ये प्रश्न विचारायचा, म्हणजे नॉट पर्टिक्युलरली रिलेटेड टू बायोडायव्हर्सिटी हेरिटेज साईट असं, की मला असं विचारायचं आहे की आता आपण खूप ठिकाणी जे काही बघतो आहोत की वृक्ष लागवड करूयात, तर अनेक ठिकाणी योग्य जातीच्या वृक्षांची निवड होत नाहीये. कितीतरी ठिकाणी म्हणजे माळरान म्हणतो किंवा गायरान म्हणतो, अशा ठिकाणी करण्यात येते आहे ही वृक्ष लागवड. मला जरा कन्फ्युजन आहे की आपण असं करावं का नाही करावं, असं येईल का, काही सांगता आपल्याला?
Can I answer?
Yes, it is for you.
Yeah, Chandra. So there are different. आता हे जे काय आहे ना, म्हणजे हे वृक्ष लागवड केलं पाहिजे का नाही केलं पाहिजे वगैरे. One important thing that we have to understand is that all of Pune and the entire western Maharashtra, and to some extent you can say the outer reaches of Maharashtra also, हे सगळं जे काय होतं, this was a carboniferous काळात, this was a huge deciduous or wet deciduous or very thick forested area. The evidence for that is in all the coal beds that you can find throughout Vidarbha and so many other places. You go dig a little deeper, you find a lot of coal. So we were always a very heavily forested area. And then we have lost our forests to various reasons. Some of the reasons that we have lost our forests to has been human habitation, where they have actually felled a lot of forest. And once the forest is felled over a period of 40-50 years, what starts to happen is that due to incessant rainfall, पाऊस पडल्यामुळे ते सगळं टॉपसॉइल वाहून जातं. आणि वाहून गेल्यानंतर त्याचं ते ग्रासलँड मध्ये त्याची निर्मिती होते. ज्या वेळेला तुमच्याकडे माती कमी, खाली खडक आणि पावसाची कमतरता किंवा पाऊस तिथून वरनं पडून जे काही वरची टॉपसॉइल आहे ती वाहून नेल्यानंतर त्याच्याकडे ते सगळं ग्रासलँड इकोसिस्टम तयार होतं. म्हणजे त्याला इकोसिस्टम म्हणतात खरं, इट इज नॉट अन इकोसिस्टम, इट इज अ व्हेरी टेरेबल थिंग, इट इज अ कर्स, इट इज अ ब्लाइट, इट इज अ प्रोसेस ऑफ डेझर्टिफिकेशन. So, you are in the process of becoming a desert. So, a grassland is a very bad thing to be having. It is not a very good sign. It is not a sign of a healthy forest. But this, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who disagree with the science. Never mind this. What we need to do very importantly is that Pune district is about 15,642 square kilometers. 9,000 square kilometers out of Pune district has been already lost to forest fires, to exploitation of timber, to exploitation of the land, and all of this. And now it has become arid and hard and dry. And all that arid, hard, dry area, which is today considered to be a wasteland or a grassland, that has to be reclaimed. And the only way to reclaim it is by planting forests over there. I mean, you can be the discussion about native species, endemic species can go on, but the only way to reclaim it is by planting forests over there and then slowly, slowly getting that land back to give us all the gifts that it used to give us before. So see, trees breathe out what we breathe in. Trees will repurpose our sewage and make it into pure water through evotranspiration. Trees will take all our wet waste and process that garbage into soil. So this is what trees contribute to us. And trees are the only solution for these three problems. No other technology exists in the world which can fix these problems the way the trees can. So and trees are our ancestors. So we have to respect that. And we have to make an afforestation plan for at least planting 250 to 300 crore trees. That is how we will be able to deal with our city's growth, with the challenges that are there before us, with our air pollution, with our water, with our sewage issues, with our water shortages, and we will even become resilient towards climate change. China has planted close to 3,500 crore trees in the past 15 years. They have planted so many trees that they've almost influenced or changed their water cycle. And that is a good debate to have. Changing your water cycle and what impact it's going to have is a better debate to have than not having water at all. So I hope I've answered Rekha Maushi's question.
Right. Akansha Kade, she has this announcement actually. So I'll ask her to talk about it. I asked you to unmute Akansha.
Yes. Hi. Am I audible, Tai, now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So, yes. Hi, everyone. So, quick just update. So, we keep on doing this tree mapping activity and the tree walks out there in the BHS, which is the Biodiversity Heritage Site. So, most of you might have already been there, but for those who have not, you can just pay a visit every Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And the location is just besides the Spicer University on the Aund Road. From there, you can see that government vegetable shop is there, right? So those vegetables and fruits actually come from the orchards inside the BHS, which is a very, very tasty, actually, I can say fruit and vegetables because they are grown in very minimal sprays and insecticides, pesticides are sprayed. I don't think even if they are sprayed or they are sprayed in the minimal values. And actually, they are very good. And you must go and see the BHS from the various aspects, like whatever biodiversity is there. It is a very good place. Once you start going, you will feel like at home. Like, for example, if you have been to RMC or if you have been to the Vishal Nagar areas of this Wakad areas of the riparian places, same way you will feel at home here also, and you'll be mesmerized by the difference in the air quality as soon as you maybe step like 15-20 steps. If you go inside the beaches, you feel the difference in the air quality. That is how that's the beauty of that place. So I really wish that people visit at least once with their friends and families, yeah, and also their enemies. Yeah, to make friends. Ata, you're on mute.
Can you repeat the timing again?
Yeah, it is morning 8:30 to 10:30. Usually we do it at that time on Saturdays. But since it was winter, so we were doing it 8:30. But yeah, we might do it little half an hour earlier also. But as of now, though, it is 8:30 to 10:30 every Saturday.
I think after Holi, we are planning to make it 7:30. Let us see. I mean, it depends
Yeah.
on how
Okay.
this heat behaves here.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Is it open on other days also? Like I'm to public? It's a question.
It's a restricted access area in the other days, so then you have to take permission to go there the other days. But if you let us know if there is a school visit or something, we can try and figure out some permission. Because otherwise, it's a restricted access area most of the time, and that is the reason why it has succeeded in remaining so pristine. You see, if
Okay.
you made Rammola confluence into a Sarasbag, then it would be very difficult to have Rammola confluence the way it is. So
Got it.
thankfully, it's a restricted access area. Not many people know it exists, and yeah, we open it for those 2 3 hours so that you can come enjoy the place for that much time, and then go back, find your way, and take home a very nice memory. So basically, what we advise is you bring yourself, you take back memories and leave only footsteps behind. Don't leave anything else behind. Don't leave any garbage. Don't leave any trash. Bathe in the forest, enjoy yourself, and then go back. That's what we would like to encourage.
Akanksha, you want to say something?
Yeah, Tai. So just one point I wanted to add. So apart from tree walk and tree mapping, we also keep conducting art sessions, which are free. So there are many artists in our Pune. There is an artist community in Pune, which keeps on coming there, and they organize such kind of sessions. So you can join along with your kids and family and friends. And also, we are planning to have like various other activities also, which are in line with the, in line with the respect that we have to give to that area, so that way we will be arranging some like quiet activities out there. So that's also the plan as the summer approaches. And the bird watching activity also happens. So if you want to join that, you can just connect with Amit bhaiya or me, or yeah, both of us, we can take care, or Rekha tai also. Yeah.
Ideally, we would like to bring a lot more school kids over there because you
Yes.
see now schools are become these concrete boxes. So kids now, they're born in a concrete box, then they travel to a concrete box to learn, they play around in concrete, and they don't have any connection with the soil anymore. So it's very important maybe to bring these kids and show them what it is to just feel soil, to feel a tree, to climb it, to just generally have fun in an area where there are no real restrictions on these parts. We need to have that happen. So hopefully we have a huge school population in Pune, and hopefully slowly we'll begin covering all the schools one by one and get all these school kids and have them. And you should see the sense of wonder on their faces the moment they come. When you see them, you say, "Here, there is a 600-year-old banyan tree. Touch it. It's yours." And everything changes when you see that happen with these school kids. You see the sense of wonder in them when they see ants for the first time, when they see butterflies for the first time, and they're very well behaved. The best part is all these school kids have been very well disciplined. They're pretty well behaved. You tell them to stay the line and just pick up fruit from the ground if you have to. Don't pluck anything from the trees. Respect the life, respect butterflies, respect bees, respect all of that. They understand instructions, they follow instructions better than adults, they don't wander off on their own. And they're such lovely children to have there. And you see when they come and the sense of wonder on their faces, the amount of learning they go through in that 1 or 2 hours that they spend at the BHS is more than whatever they learn in years of syllabus teaching in school. So it's such a pleasure to have them, and that I think should be the next objective for all of us. We should bring them and show them what is their heritage.
Sure, sure. So I think, thank you, Amit. This was a really wonderful session, and we hope that many more people visit it, and they come with their kids and all their family and friends. I think I'll take this one last question because somebody has raised hand. I'll just ask you to unmute, Sheetal. You can ask your question and then we'll stop. Yes, please. You can unmute yourself. Okay, I think she's unable to unmute maybe. Or you can type your question in the chat.
I believe somebody is also asking for the location. So the location is opposite the back gate of the Pune University. You know where the Ayuka gate is? It is opposite the Ayuka gate. So ideally, if you come from Bremen Chowk, you leave Spicer Memorial College on your left. You come to your Ayuka gate on your right, and the location is on your left. It is the gate which is opposite the Ayuka gate. And you have a very unfriendly watchman, but please forgive him because he has to most of the time deal with all kinds of trespassers and drunks and people who come to steal stuff, including firewood and whatnot, and all our corporation officials. So please, yeah.
Okay.
She's working in Nashik on tree mapping. So ideally,
Perfect.
Sheetal, you should perhaps get in touch with Akanksha, and Akanksha can help you with the tree mapping piece that you're doing there.
Okay. And I think if you have many questions about tree mapping, you can directly contact Akanksha. And Sanjeev has also given the link, the Google Map link for the location. And Akanksha, if you can share the contact details, or Ameet, if you can give your contact details, that would be great.
I'll just put in my number there.
Sure.
So that's my number.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have Amit's number, you can directly contact him. And we publish all these sessions on our YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and search for Pune River Revival. In a week's time, or at the most after 10 days, you can check that, and all the sessions will be available. All these Wednesday webinars are available on the YouTube channel. So if any of your friends or family, they have missed it, you can share it with them, and you can also watch it again. Join us again on next Wednesday, because we have these sessions pretty much every Wednesday, and there is a lot to learn and a lot to understand and exchange our views. Thank you, Ameet. It was wonderful.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sure.